welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyaso. Tonight, federal government gives approval for new agriculture policy as part of measures to achieve food security in the country. Senate urges immediate release of funds to tackle case of malnutrition in the IDP camps in the northeast. Property worth millions of naira destroyed at Alvani Koko College of Education, Abia State, as students protest against schools' management. And South Sudan warns African Union against sending peacekeepers to the troubled country without its approval.
On business news tonight, higher costs and forex losses hit listed companies on the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
And in sports news, Nigeria Basketball Federation confirms the Tigers captain Olumide Oyedeji out of next month's Rio Olympics.
I'm Yemisi Ikwaye, and from Abuja, Speaker of the House of Representatives replaces Mr. Abdulmumin Jibrin with Mustafa Dawaki as Chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation in controversial circumstances.
The Federal Executive Council has approved the detailed plan outlining the policies and strategies which will be adopted to ensure food sufficiency across the country. The Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Aduogbe, who briefed State House correspondents after the council meeting, said the document titled Green Alternative stipulates what the government will do to develop the sector. The council also approved the takeover of 2 federal roads within the Kaduna metropolis by the state government.
Now, more than ever before, agriculture takes center stage for a government that is pushing for a diversified economy and export local produce for the needed foreign exchange. At different meetings, it has encouraged farmers to do more to meet this objective while asking young people to embrace agriculture. This is the latest of such meetings, where the President says the glorious days of agricultural growth must return. A memo by the Agriculture Minister titled The Green Alternative, a compendium of policies he's adopted to achieve the aim.
The document is titled The Green Alternative, and it outlines virtually everything we need to do, every policy we need to undertake to achieve self-sufficiency in agriculture and also to become a major exporter of agricultural products.
The Federal Executive Council meeting also focused on 2 federal roads in Kaduna metropolis, which were handed over to the state government at its request.
There was a request by the Kaduna State Governor, His Excellency Governor El Rufai, to His Excellency Mr. President, to have the 2 roads mentioned, the Namdi Azikwe Expressway, that is the Kaduna Bypass Road, as is popularly called, and then the popular Ahmadu Bello Way, which runs all across, almost inside Kaduna town. They are presently federal roads, but he requested that they are designated as state roads so that they will have the power without any inhibition to work on the roads to make them better for Kaduna indigents.
This just may be the cue for other states to follow, where some federal roads can be converted to state roads for better management of the intra-road networks in the states and the country at large.
And while the federal government strategizes to increase food production, the Senate has directed the executive to release funds for the provision of basic needs of internally displaced persons in the northeast. Speaking on the motion, which came under matters of urgent national importance, the lawmakers frowned on the fact that children who bear the brunt of the insurgency are now suffering from malnutrition.
These are common sights now at the internally displaced persons camp. Reports from the United Nations organization says 128 of these children die every day and 5 of them die every hour. How to change this story formed part of the discussions at the Senate plenary.
The Senate is disturbed that from January to May 2016, UNICEF has admitted and treated 2,530 children in Borno State for acute malnutrition, with a total of 47,423 children from Adamawa, Borno and Yobe were treated of acute malnutrition under the same period.
The motion enjoyed the support of many senators. They say now is the time to act to save the nation's young population from dying.
Time is not on our side, especially with the issues relating to small and helpless children that are malnourished, that need to be given proper and immediate attention. If not, a child that is facing malnutrition, if not taken care of immediately, you will grow up as a disabled person.
The Senate President approved the prayers in the motion, but is quick to add that pledges made towards the Victim Support Fund must be remitted to help give a meaningful life to the affected children.
We must ensure and address the federal government to find the money and provide so that we can begin to address this. And the committee that we have charged with the responsibility should kindly also follow up to see and ensure that the resolutions that we have passed today are being implemented.
The Senate Committee on Special Duties is expected to visit the affected areas as well as work with the executive to find a lasting solution to the matter.
Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency has sent some food materials to Yobe State in Nigeria as part of measures to correct the malnutrition problem facing internally displaced persons in the region. This gesture is coming sequel to the food shortage hitting hard, especially at returning communities in the troubled areas.
Latest report from the United Nations shows that over 200,000 people in the northeast are at the risk of dying from malnutrition and poor Medicare. The statistics gives the federal government serious concern. This prompted NEMA to begin the distribution of food items and supplements to affected states. Yobe is one of the benefiting states, and the deputy governor was on hand to receive the items. He assures the federal government that the item will be judiciously distributed.
The IDPs who have returned to their villages and who are now trying to make ends meet by trying to cultivate their farmlands need this assistance. And this will go a long way in assisting them to have more courage and strength in staying community.
The zonal coordinator of NEMA, Mohammed Kanar, says the federal government is committed to fighting food shortage, not just in the northeast, but across the country.
The federal government, under the able leadership of Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, have now started to release various assistance to the affected communities within Northeast. And Yobe is one of the most affected states, which the federal government will continue to see that many assistance will come.
The displaced persons are still in the various camps, while those who need food assistance are scattered among some communities in Gujba and Gulani local government areas of the state. The state government is appealing to the federal government to fast-track the reconstruction and rebuilding of destroyed infrastructure in the affected communities to complement its efforts.
To education now, the Alvan Ikoku Federal College of Education, Owerri, has been shut down indefinitely after a protest by students of the institution left property worth millions of naira destroyed. The school authorities say the students' action was triggered by what they call the insensitivity of management to their plight, the no school fee, no examination policy, and the recent directive preventing female students from entering male hostels after 7 p.m. The provost of the college, Mrs. Blessing Ijoma, says the protest is unnecessary, adding that the school will be shut until management takes a decision on the matter.
The sight of the gates of the Alvan Ikoku Federal College of Education in Owerri does not tell much of the destruction within. When our crew entered the premises, the damage done stares one in the face. At the administrative block, windows, shattered vehicles and office furniture and appliances were not spared. The irate students also left a mark on the school-owned mini water bottling company and the computer training and ICT center. A student union government representative says their reasons for the protest are tied to the school's management asking that the Teachers Registration Council of Nigerian fees be made mandatory and a directive preventing the female students from the male hostels anytime from 7 p.m.
That yesterday, it was a peaceful protest. But what made the students to start destroying what they destroyed yesterday was because the police shot tear gas on them. And so they now got angry why the police shot tear gas on them. That's why they now started doing what they were doing.
Meanwhile, the provost, Mrs. Blessing Ijoma, debunks allegations that the school management is insensitive to the plight of the students and insists that discipline must be maintained on campus.
We called all of them together. We told them this is government developmental program. Now, we pacify them, do not make trouble. We will be giving you 4 hours of light at night and 1 hour of light in the morning. And we have kept to that promise, 4 hours at night. And you know what it means to burn diesel for 4 hours at night and 1 hour in the morning with 2 500 kVA generators. That's 1,000 kVA generators.
In the meantime, as the students await the next line of action by the school management, the provost says the school will remain shut pending the outcome of the meeting of the school's management and the academic board.
Staying with education now, reactions are still trailing the dissolution of the governing council of the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State, southwest Nigeria. Some workers believe the selection of an acting vice-chancellor will restore peace, as plans are being made to reopen the institution. However, others are concerned the process might not be credible.
Workers at the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, in the southwest, are still in a festive mood following the dissolution of the governing council of the school. The president had also directed that the Senate of the institution pick a qualified candidate to occupy the vice-chancellor's seat in acting capacity. The chairman of the school's Senior Staff Association feels the federal government is just on the matter.
The federal government has given an instruction, and I think we should abide by that instruction. Pending the time, I want to presume that the federal government will appoint members of the governing council for this university, and by extension, choose the new vice-chancellor for it.
But the public relations officer is not sure about that.
This Senate, we have confidence in them. But we have a lot of people that are members of Senate that are very close to a middle past vice-chancellor.
The students are fed up of the standoff and the incessant strikes.
People have started calling us strikers, a lot of names. Even people said no team in this world can strike more than OAU. I mean football team. That's insulting to me. I just want the new VC to please do the right thing.
In a few days, the Senate will reconvene to select an acting vice-chancellor to head the affairs of the institution. Whoever emerges has the onerous task of restoring the university's academic calendar to normal and forging better working relations with staff and students.
In part 2, after the break, Supreme Court dismisses Governor Seriake Dixon's objection to the hearing of video evidence at the State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal. That's in a moment. Do join us again.